Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Fantastic. Welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. Waiting for a few more people to join. We'll get this thing going. Got a good lesson today, so it's going to be a good show. Thanks for coming in. All right, we're going to be streaming to multiple platforms today. Welcome. Welcome, Coach Joe. Thanks for joining the show. Welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, we're just waiting for a few more minutes, and then we'll get this thing going. We've got a jam-packed show for you guys today, this morning. It's going to be fun. Welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, we're going to get this thing going. All right. Good morning. Again, welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. My name is Robert Mendy. I'm your faith-based salesman, author, and CEO of the Holy Grail Sales. Welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. This is where we teach you how to sell, starting with intention first, faith. Then we'll combine powerful sales techniques with spiritual insights. In other words, we teach you how to sell like the greatest salesman of all time. Welcome. Hope you have your notepad, pens handy, ready to go. All right, we're about to get going. So today we're going to be talking about divine timing in sales. When to push and when to pause. Very important. Fatu, how are you? Welcome. Welcome to the show. Bienvenue, Masa. All right, welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, ready? Welcome. All right, so let's talk about divine timing in sales, when to push and when to pause. So the show today, we're going to be breaking down the show into some teachings, a few segments. So we'll start with an opening. The opening, I'll break down an opening for 3 different points. Then we'll elaborate in 3 different segments. And each segment will have about 4 points that I will break down. And then we'll actually get to the closing and action steps. The way I teach always at the end, I always like to give you guys some action steps, things that you can actually, do and implement right away so you can start seeing the benefits. All right. Welcome, EC. Hopefully I said that right. All right. So let's break it down. Let's go. So Kairos versus Chronos and the piece of God's timing. Understanding Kairos versus Chronos, 2 different things. Greek literature distinguishes between Chronos, which is measurable clock time, and Kairos, opportune or God appointed moments. Chronos pushes us toward endless tasks, while Kairos invites us to discern seasons and pivotal moments. Scripture teaches that there is a time for every purpose under heaven, a season to sow and a season to reap. Recognizing the difference help us align our sales activities with God's timing instead of rushing ahead. Chronos is clock time. Kairos is God's opportune moment. Discern the difference to move when heaven moves rather than when the calendar dictates. Kairos time is divine. That's God's timing. Chronos is clock time. That's how it's measured. So understanding the difference is very important, because then we get to a point, now we actually pretty much start to discern and understand when this is God's time for us to move, this is God's timing, or whether this is pretty much just chronos, which is pretty much us just trying to do it because we want to, or we think that this is the time for us to move. When we don't understand the difference between the two, that's when we tend to actually mix the two. But my recommendation to you guys, obviously, to understand the two and also lean more toward Kairos, which is God's timing, because everything has a time. Everything is divine and everything happens in due time. God's timing is always right. God's timing is always on time. Now, I understand, obviously, that we sometimes want it quicker and we want it now. But sometimes God's delaying is sometimes for our protection. That's why it's important for us to understand it and know that everything happened for a reason, and not take it for granted, and not be upset when we don't have it right away. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Flash. Welcome, Logan. Appreciate the support. So we talked about understanding Kairos versus Chronos. Now we're going to talk about why forcing deals creates resistance. When we rush or pressure prospect to close, we operate in Chronos-driven anxiety. Ecclesiastes remind us that every activity has its proper time. And Psalm 37 urges us to be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Forcing deals can create distrust and sabotage relationships, whereas waiting on God's timing produces favor and open doors. That's what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Understanding the difference between the two and waiting on God's time. Knowing that when it's time, that's the harvest. And at that point, there's no turning back. Because when God opens doors, no man can shut them down. So God's timing is very important. Even though sometimes we want it quicker than it's coming, we just need to understand that maybe it's not time just yet. And just keep on trucking. Don't give up. Don't quit. Just keep going. You might not understand why you're not getting it right away. And that's okay. But just know that it's happening for a reason. Sometimes it's happening for our own protection. We are in a society where it's all about instant gratification. We want what we want, and we want it now. That's it. But we have to understand that we got to be ready for what we're asking for at the same time. And God knows us better than we know ourselves. They say, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. The worst thing you can do for yourself is be asking for some things when you're clearly not ready for it. And then sometimes, like I said, it's God's protection. That's God's way of protecting us because he knows that we're not ready for it. And sometimes when we get it, we end up actually hurting ourselves more than we do. Or we hurt ourselves more and put ourselves in a situation in a worse situation than we were actually before we even got what we was going for. That's why understanding God's time is very important. So when you're praying for stuff, when you're asking for things and it's not coming, just ask yourself those questions. Is it not coming because it's not time yet? Or it's not coming because I'm not ready for it just yet? The answer will come. So forcing deals creates resistance. It does, because when clients, it has to be genuine, it has to flow fluidly. Your clients, the moment they think or actually feel that you are actually just applying too much pressure, and at this point you're just about your commission, and that's all you care about, you're going to lose that client. That's why it's very important to just operate on God's timing and know and understand that if that sale is meant to be yours, you'll get it regardless. That's it. If that sale is meant to be yours, you'll get it. So there's no need to be actually trying to apply too much pressure. Pressure is fine, because at some point, if you spend that much time with a client and you build value, you earn the right to ask for the sale. Granted. But when you're just pressuring just to pressure, when you haven't even done your job, you're going to end up losing the client. So don't force deals. It's going to create resistance. And when there's resistance, you're not making that deal. You lost it before it even begins. So, Cairo, which is God's timing. Third point, the peace of divine timing. Let's break it down for a second. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Sub Pro, welcome to the show. Indeed, the dolls. I'm sorry if I messed it up. I tried. Welcome to the show. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you guys joining the show. Hope you got a pen and paper, because we got some teachings to do this morning. Some great stuff. And every day we'll come in here. Actually, obviously, we come in here to bring you some value. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So every time we come in here, every time you come on to join us over here at the show, just come prepared, because we commit to bringing you value every single day. All right? Things that you're going to be able to use right away and make yourself better. So welcome. So let's talk about the peace of divine timing. God invites us to cease striving and trust his sovereignty. Be still and know that I am God. Means letting go of frantic effort. Jesus died for us at just the right time and was born when the fullness of time had come. When we operate from faith in God's perfect timing, we experience peace instead of pressure. Let's talk about segment 1. Recognizing divine timing signals. Welcome, Rosemary. Welcome, YH9P. Welcome to the show. Welcome, guys. Segment 1, recognizing divine timing signals. Point number 1, signs that timing is right. Divine timing often carries a sense of peace and alignment, repeated confirmations, a prospect's readiness, and doors opening effortlessly. These moments feel like Kairos season calling for actions. Paying attention to these cues helps you approach clients with grace rather than force. So understanding these times are very important and critical. It's everything happens in seasons. So when you're in this season, you gotta understand it. And you gotta recognize it. There are certain cues that are happening in front of you. And when you recognize it, now you're approaching your client with grace rather than forcing. When you're approaching your client with grace rather than forcing the deal or forcing yourself into the sale, everything becomes fluid. Your client at that moment picks up on the fact that you are there to serve them. That you're not just there just trying to just shove some things on their throats. You're not there to just sell them anything just to make a commission. Your confidence is radiating. They can tell that you care because of the questions that you're asking them. They can tell that you have their best interest in mind. You're not even thinking about your commission. All you're thinking about is, how can I serve you? How can I leave a lasting impact to the point that when you leave this company, when you leave this store, when you leave this building, all you're thinking about is me and how I served you today. Serve them to the point that they can't help but talk about you to others. This is when you also get to a point that you're starting to recognize these signs. You understand timing, and you know when it's Kairos time, which is God's timing. Welcome, Rosie. JT Sims, welcome to the show. Next, we're going to talk about when delays are divine protection. I kind of brushed on this earlier when I was breaking down Kairos time. When delays are divine protection. Not every delay is failure. Sometimes God withholds an opportunity to develop character or protect us. Joseph's dream were delayed for 13 years while he was enslaved and imprisoned. Yet God used that delay to prepare him to save nations. Trust that delays may be part of God's protection and preparation. So just because there's delays doesn't mean that things are not going to work and it's not happening. Things are happening, you just don't see it just yet. It's like going to the gym. Remember, we live in a world of instant gratification. We're going to the gym. We just started. The next day, we're already in the mirror checking, trying to see the results. We're trying to see if we cut. We're trying to see if the muscles are showing. We just started. Yes, things are happening on the inside. It's not reflecting on the outside yet. It's too early. But doesn't mean it's not happening. It's happening. It's just things have to happen on the inside first before they show up on the outside. That's the same thing we're talking about here. That was the best analogy that I could have given you on this particular, on understanding the delays that happen sometimes due to God's protection, trying to protect us because we're not ready for what we're asking for just yet. Or it's because God is busy trying to develop our character. Because for what we're asking for, we need to have a strong character in order for us to endure and get the most out of what it is that we're asking for. I just told you, Joseph's dreams were delayed for 13 years, where he was enslaved and imprisoned. Yet God still used him to save nations afterwards. He needed to go through all that to become who he became. That's why I said, even when you don't understand why things are happening around you, why is it that things are not manifesting the way you really want to just yet? Just trust in the Almighty. Trust in Kairos time and know this is just God that's still preparing you. Because the moment you're ready, the floodgates will open. Welcome, Carlin. Welcome, William, to the show. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. This is a show where we teach you how to serve with intention first, faith, then we'll combine powerful sales techniques with spiritual insights. In other words, we teach you how to sell like the greatest salesman of all time. We teach you how to serve first. We teach you how to leave a lasting impact on your clients. And we teach you how to make sure that your clients gets the best experience from you than anyone else. This is how you this is how you build relationship with your clients, and this is how you make sure that you actually now have advocates out there that's going to be fighting for you, that's going to be sending you customers, that's going to be giving you referrals and telling others about you just because you took care of them. You took the time to make sure that they understood that you had their best interest in mind. You took the time to make sure that they understood that you care. Excuse me. Remember, John Maxwell said, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. So taking time to make sure that the customer understands that you truly do care is very important. They're going to know by the questions you're asking them. They're going to know by the time that you're spending with them. They're going to know by the effort that you're putting into the whole presentation. They're going to know by your smile, your passion. Remember, 55% of communication is body language. So they're going to pick up on all these nonverbal cues. This is how they're going to know that you do care about them, that you got their best interest in mind, and that you are there to serve them. Remember, Jesus himself said that I came not to be served, but to serve. So if Jesus can bring himself down to serve, we can definitely do that as well. Focus on serving your client. Everything else will come. Commission, money, all that. It's a byproduct. Serve first. Build value. Everything else will take care of itself. Let's get down to the next point. Reading spiritual seasons in business. Ecclesiastes teaches that there is a season for everything. In sales, this means recognizing seasons of sowing, building relationships, serving, and season of harvest, closing deals. Misreading the seasons leads to striving. Discerning the season allows you to act in peace. Understanding and knowing the season for sowing and the season for reaping or for the harvest. The harvest is closing deals. Sowing is building relationships and serving. That's what I talked about a few minutes ago. When you focus on serving the client, when you focus on building that relationship, because remember, you're not trying to sell the client just for today. You're trying to earn a lifetime customer. Therefore, a relationship has to be built. There's no way for you to actually have a lifetime client if you're not focusing on building a relationship. It's impossible. Mimi, welcome to the show. Jadis, welcome to the show. Space God 03, welcome to the show. This is the Holy Grail Cell Podcast. Welcome, welcome. You have to sow before you can reap. The harvest comes after the sowing. Very important. Different seasons. And you got to recognize it. You got to understand it. Because in order for you to get to the next, you got to do the first one also first. The first one is sowing. The next one is harvest. Building relationships. Patricio, welcome to the show. Mr. Palmer, welcome to the show there, brother. Zay, welcome to the show. Build your relationship with your clients. Serve them. Bring yourself down. Be humble and serve your clients. Use the basin and towel model. Wash their feet. Jesus did it. And if you can, we definitely can as well. Oh non, sois la bienvenue. Comment tu vas, ma soeur? Salut, salut. Glow, welcome to the show. Very important, guys. Sowing and reaping. Sowing, then the harvest. Build that relationship with your clients that there is no tomorrow. Help your clients instead of selling them. Very important. When you focus on helping your client, you're not trying to sell them anything. You're trying to make sure that they understand that you're building value. You're trying to build it up. You focusing on making sure that they get exactly what they came in for. Remember, that's why I said you have to make sure that your clients get the experience that they've never gotten anywhere else. This is how you separate yourself from the competition. This is how you leave a lasting impression with your clients. This is how you build lifetime relationships. Because Joe Blow next door is not doing what you're doing. Your clients will love you and will keep coming back month after month, year after year. They won't deal with nobody but you. Has any of you ever had a client that came into your location, to your building, asked for you, and your coworkers tell the client that you are off today, and the client turns around and leave? Has that ever happened to you? Let me get some love if that ever happened to you. Appreciate that. If that ever happened to you, that means that, guess what? You sold. You made sure that client understood that you had their best interest in mind. You served them like there's no tomorrow. You put them first. And now you allow them to acquire whatever product that you're selling so they can go home and build memories with their families. That's very important, guys. That's why I keep talking about, don't worry about the money, don't worry about the commission. All that stuff will come. Just focus on serving your client. Jen, welcome to the show. Let's talk about biblical examples of perfect timing. God sent Jesus when the cultural and historical conditions were ideal. And Christ died at just the right time. Remember, timing is everything, and it's very important. E, welcome to the show. Esther approached the king at the exact moment her people needed salvation. And Paul was called to Macedonia at this prince's prompting. The stories illustrate that obedience coupled with divine timing releases supernatural outcomes. Divine timing. Biblical example of perfect timing. I just gave you about three to four different ones. Remember, everything in your life happens in seasons, and understanding those seasons and those timings is very important, because this is how you move. This is how you get to appreciate what you got in front of you. Understanding that this is harvest time when you're dealing with a client. Well, you understood it because you've already sold. You already took the time to build the value on that product that they came in for. You qualified them, number one. You welcome them with a smile. They feel very welcome in your home, in your company, in your building. That's your second home, because you spend actually a lot more time probably there than you probably do in your home house. So you welcome them very friendly. They feel welcome. You smiled and opened your arms, allowed them to come in. And then you give them a compliment. Why did you give them a compliment? You gave them the compliment because you wanted to get them smiling. You wanted to break the ice and break down the walls. That's the best way to break down walls. Giving your clients a compliment. It catches them off guard, and they're going to appreciate that. Because everywhere they went, nobody took the time to do that. You already separated yourself from the competition. Then you qualify the client. You went through your fact finding by asking them all the questions that you need to get the answers to in order for you to serve them. And after you got those answers, now you was able to take them through the selection process and find them exactly what they wanted. Did a phenomenal presentation, and now you got yourself a lifetime customer. Now you're getting into the closing time. That's the harvest. You can't just jump steps and just talk about closing when you haven't even done the work just yet. You haven't built no value. Jay, welcome to the show. Nikki, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. Again, this is a show where we teach you how to serve with intention, faith, combining powerful sales techniques with spiritual insights. In other words, we teach you how to sell like the greatest salesman of all time. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about segment 2. This is the art of patient persistence. It's going to be a good one right here. I told you guys this is going to be a packed show. We're going to be learning a lot of different things. We're going to learn how to sell the right way. You got the conventional world that taught us one way of selling, where we came in understanding sales one way and just focus on what? Chasing quotas. Sometimes even treating the clients as a number and commission. That's it. We do it differently here at the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. We teach you how to serve first, because we understand that the more you serve, the more you're going to end up reaping. The harvest will come. We teach you how to leave a lasting impact. A lasting impact is very important because that client will never forget about you. And every time they need your product, every time they know anybody that's talking about your product, guess what they're going to do? They're going to send them your way. Now you got yourself an advocate, someone that's going to be out there fighting for you getting you everything you need. That's a major difference. That's what you want. This is what you're building for. That's what you want in a client. That's why I say you're not just selling your client for today, but you're trying to sell them for a lifetime. So focus on serving first, and everything else will take care of itself. So segment 2, the art of patient persistence. Let's talk about following up without being pushy. How do you do that? How do you follow up with your client without being pushy? I'm glad you asked. Patient persistence means staying connected without pressuring. Send value-driven check-ins, share helpful content, and ask if the timing is right. Psalm 37 encouraged quiet trust, reminding us that God moves hearts. Patient persistence. How do you stay connected without pressuring? See, most of us learn that all you got to do, promote, just keep being pushy, keep pressuring, and you're going to end up getting the deal. You couldn't be any further from the truth. Pino, welcome to the show. Berthe. I want to say birth, and if I messed it up, I apologize. I tried. Welcome to the show. Oh no, thanks for hanging out with us. Good to see you. How's my brother doing? Edmond. Passe le bonjour à mon frère, Edmond. Dis-lui qu'il me manque, ça fait longtemps. Sorry, guys, I had to switch up a little bit with that French a little bit. Got one of my sisters over here in the building. My French connection from Paris. Now let's talk about nurturing relationships for future harvest. Nurturing relationships for future harvest. Healthy sales pipeline are cultivated like gardens. I'm going to say that one more time. That was good. That was good. Healthy sales pipeline are cultivated like gardens. You water contacts with encouragements and prayer, trusting that seed will sprout in the right season. Galatians 6 verse 9 promises that those who do not grow weary in doing good will reap a harvest at the proper time. These people understand that things happen in Kairos time, in God's timing. Joel, welcome to the show. They understand that I have to sow first before I can reap. They understand that before the harvest, sowing needs to happen first. Before I can close that deal, I need to build value with the client first. Before I can get the money to give me that credit card and ready to swipe, I need to build value first. I need to make sure that the client understands that I have their best interest in mind. And I'm going to focus on serving them, getting them exactly what they need, rather than just trying to sell them what I want. See, I teach all the time, forget about your commission. It'll come. Just focus on the client first. Then everything else will take care of itself. This is why Zig Ziglar said, in life, if you just help enough people get what they want, you will in turn get what you want. That means there is no way for you to focus on the client and not get what you want. It's impossible. Focus on the client. Serve them. Pour value onto them. This is also how you keep the client from beating you up or trying to get a discount from you all the time, because they see the value. If you don't take the time to build the value, guess what? Now the clients get to determine what the value is. And if they feel like that's too much, guess what? They're going to give you the price that they want to pay for. Excuse me. Don't get enough to be upset because the client's trying to beat you up when you're the one that did it in the first place. You wanted to jump from 1 to 10. You wanted to go from hello to let me get you down to the register. That's not how that works. You got to put in the work first. You got to find them what they came in for. They came in with a problem. Now it's your job to actually what? Provide the solution. And you provide the solution by going through the steps that we talked about. From your attitude being on point, to your greeting, to fact finding, to introducing protection plan, to the selection process, demonstration, trial close, overcoming objection if there are any, negotiation, close, delivery, and now acquisition of the product, which is delivery. Then you got follow-up, and so on. It's steps to this. And you can't skip all the steps and just try to get to the close. You ask for the sale after you earn the right to ask for it. And you earn the right by making sure that you do all these things that I just talked about. That's part of service. Let's talk about the next point. When to let go and when to hold on. Oh, this is a good one right here. This is a tough one. When to let go and when to hold on. Ecclesiastes mentions a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Ask the Holy Spirit for discernment. Sometimes you must release a prospect to God's care. Other times you must persevere because the seed is germinating beneath the surface. That's understanding the time to let go and a time to hold on. When you're letting go, you're not just letting go just to let go. You're letting go and let God. Oh, I'll say something there. You're letting go and let God. Remember, not everything is meant to be yours. You were never meant to be selling or closing every single deal. It's impossible. This is why the average closing ratio is what? 30%. That's 3 out of 10. That means you just sold 3 customers out of 10. That means there were 7 that you did not sell. You weren't meant to sell everything. Not every client are meant to be yours. This is how you keep yourself from getting upset or getting pissed off because you spent 2 hours with a client, 3 hours with a client, and couldn't close it. Whitney, welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by. You don't get upset with a client because they didn't buy from you. Instead, ask yourself those questions. Why did they not buy from me? Did I follow all the steps that we just talked about? How was my attitude? Was I happy to see them? Did I welcome them into the building with open arms? Did I serve them? Really? Did I build value of my product to show them that they're getting a steal? To show them that they're getting quality and a phenomenal deal? Because my price point is not only am I providing the best quality, but I'm also giving them the best value. Did I show that to them? Did I show them that I had their best interest in mind? How was my body communicating with them? Remember, 55% of communication is body language. How you showing up to the sale? Very important. Sometimes before you even open your mouth, you already lost the sale. You lost the sale before you even open your mouth. Why? Because your body already communicated everything that the clients needed to know. Based on your eye contact, based on your posture, based on your energy, based on the passion that you were exerting as you was going through your presentation. The client already knew what they needed to know. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, if you don't love what you're doing, that might be time to find something else. A wise man once told me, do what you love and make money while doing it, and you'll never work a day in your life. That's where the passion comes in. Fanboy, welcome to the show. You have to have the passion for what you're doing. If there's no passion, you're not going to do it. If there's no passion, people are going to tell too. Your customers will feel it. University Talk, welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. Now let's talk about creating a timing-based follow-up system. Creating a timing-based follow-up system. Build a system that honors seasons. Schedule regular checkpoints or touch points, but also pray before each call. Note any spiritual impressions. Document Kairos moment, peace, opponents, openness, divine connections to guide you to the next step. Prayer is very important. It helps you stay aligned and focused and locked in before the call. Because that's what you're asking for as you're praying. You're asking for guidance, for discernment. Remember, ask and it shall be given to you. So ask to be able to understand your client. Ask to be able to convey the message to them to the point that they understood or they understand exactly what you're talking about. How can you make sure that they're able to pick up what you're putting down? Very important. Now we're going to talk about segment 3. We're almost there, people. We're going to wrap up segment 3, and then we'll talk about closing, and I'll give you guys some action steps. Remember, here at the Holy Grail Sales Podcast, we always make sure that we bring you lots of teaching, good stuff that you can actually learn and be able to implement right away so you can keep growing and keep getting better each and every day. We are committed to bringing you value each and every day when we come into the show. We do the show twice a week. We do it on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. So normally we do it on Tuesdays at 5 a.m. and then on Thursdays at 12 noon. So every now and then I'll switch up the time just to be able to also, get a different crowd also. But normally it's 5 a.m. on Tuesdays, 12 o'clock on Thursdays. So welcome to the show. Maury Konate, welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the Holy Grail Sales Podcast. So segment 3, practical timing applications. Building a pipeline that honors timing. Structure your pipeline like a farm. Some leads are seedlings. Some are building, and others are ripe for harvest. Allocate time to nurture each stage rather than chasing only the ready deals. You can't do that. It's like dealing with clients and trying to cherry pick the ones that are ready and the ones that are not. The ones that are spending a certain amount and the ones that are not. So if you're spending 15 G's or $20,000, now I want to spend time with you. If you're spending $10 or $20, whatever the case may be, you get my point. Now I'm ready to drop you and go and find somebody else. You can't do that. Just because you're not ready today doesn't mean you won't be ready tomorrow. Remember, sowing and reaping. In order for you to get to the harvest, you got to sow first. How do you sow? You sow by actually what? Serving your clients. You sow by serving your client today, knowing that tomorrow, when they're ready, they'll come back to you. Not every client is going to be ready to buy right away. Dylan, welcome to the show. Not every client is going to buy from you right away. This might be their first time coming out. And their goal is to check out other stores as well, or other companies before making a decision. Or maybe they're closing. If you're in real estate, they're closing on the home first. Or if you're in the furniture industry, they got to close on their home first before they actually come and buy the furniture from you. But yet you're so busy trying to be pissed off because they're not buying just yet. So you're ready to drop them. And then somebody else picks them up, work them, serve them, build value in everything that they were looking for, show them that they care, and kept sowing. A week later, the client comes back, asks for that salesperson, and drop 15 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, and now you're sick. That's the law of sowing and reaping. You got to be able to commit, and you got to be able to be willing to invest time and effort with your clients. Earn the sale. Earn the right to ask for the sale. Keep sowing. Don't worry about if it's going down right now or not. What you going to do anyway? Go back and sit down and talk to your peers? Instead of doing that, just focus on your client. Keep building it up and keep adding to it. And before they leave, make sure that you actually write up a quote for that client. So at least you have the information. So what? Now you're able to follow back up with that client. And when they're ready, they'll come back and see you. The ones that are ready, you'll be able to close automatically. But the ones that are not ready just yet, that's what determines the professionals and the amateurs. This is how you become a top writer. Having the ability to close everything that's in front of you that's ready right now. But also sowing properly with everybody else that might not be ready just yet. But making sure you take them off the market. How you take them off the market? By serving them like you never served them anybody in your life. Give them your time. Serve them. Leave a lasting impact. Give them the experience that they came in for. Show them that you are in the life improvement business. I don't care what type of industry you're in, whether it's furniture, cars, real estate, We are in the people business, people. We are in the people business. DJ Trey Love, welcome to the show. So if we are in the people business, understanding people is very important. Being personable is very important. Being able to show hospitality is very important because you're dealing with people. So we talked about building a pipeline that honors timing. Now we're going to talk about quarterly planning with spiritual seasons. Quarterly planning with spiritual seasons. Align your quarterly goals with spiritual seasons. For example, dedicate certain months to sowing, networking, education, and others to harvesting, proposals, and closings. This is how that works. Sowing, then you get the harvest. Sowing, reaping. Sowing is what? Networking, education. And then when it's time for the harvest, that's when the proposal comes through, and this is when you close the deal. Remember, the seasons of rest are just as crucial to productivity. So you got the season for sowing, the season for harvest, and there's also a season for rest. That's what it's talking about. It's crucial to productivity because energy. The rest time would allow you to show up properly. The rest time will allow you to show up excited, passionate. That's why you see athletes, they don't play when they sleep. They have to get a certain amount of rest so they can come to the game prepared, ready to go. You can't be on the go 24/7. At some point, you won't shut down or your body will shut you down. So it's different seasons, and understanding that is very important, right? So some month, that's what you're doing, sowing. This is when you sometimes feel like you can't close the door. We use that expression sometime in the furniture industry. All right, hold on. Perfect. All right. So some month you are dedicated to sowing. Some month, that's a harvest. You sowed for a certain amount of time. Now it's time for you to start closing deals. All that time that you invested, all that effort that you put in month after month, now it's paying off. And then you got to take also some month or weeks, whatever the case may be, for rest so you can rejuvenate and come back ready. Or days, depending on what you do. It's all about showing up properly to your clients. Mark, welcome to the show. Khalid, welcome to the show. Ben, welcome to the show. Let's talk about daily practices for timing discernments. Begin each day with a prayer and stillness. Be still and know, allowing God to highlight where to focus. Journal any scriptures or impressions, mediate on the truth that your times are in God's hands. Psalm 31, verse 15. Silence calms your internal dialogue so you can hear God's voice. This part is very critical. A lot of time we're just on the go, right? We're going 100 miles per hour. We're constantly talking. That's what we do as salespeople. But silence is key to success in sales. And you have to learn to be silent sometimes. How can you hear what the client's trying to tell you if you're constantly talking? It's impossible. Yes, you can hear what the client is saying, but what about the things that they're not saying? Oh, I'll say something there. Yes, you can hear what the client is saying, but what about the things that they are not saying? Active listening, that silence, that's what's going to allow you to hear not only what the client is saying, but also what they're not telling you. This is how you elevate yourself. This is how you separate yourself from the amateurs to the professionals. In silence, you can hear God's voice. When there's too much noise, you can't hear God talking to you. But as you learn to become more silent, you start to get in tune with yourself. You start to hear things that you weren't used to hearing. And now you get to the point that you can now hear God talking to you. He's talking to us all the time. Most of us just don't hear because we undergo all the time. And we are too noisy. There's too much noise around us. But as you become more silent, you now start to connect. You now start to tap in. And now you can hear. Technology tools for relationship nurturing. Use customer relationship management, which stands for CRM. If you're in sales, you understand that. CRM is a database. As a customer relationship management, it's a software, email sequences, or reminder apps to track follow-ups. But the Holy Spirit leads your timing. Technology should serve your intentions, should serve your sensitivity to God rather than drive you to pressure clients. Remember, it's never about pressuring clients. It's about giving them grace. It's about serving them. Those tools are there to make your life easier. They're there to actually allow you to follow back up with your clients, to reconnect with them, so you can keep serving them, not the other way around. If you think that those tools are there to allow you to just keep pressuring your clients, you got it wrong. And you lost before you even started. They're there to facilitate things for you, to make it easier for you. They're there to allow you to follow back up with your clients because now you got their information. They're there so you can tell your clients and show them that you truly care. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't take the time. You wouldn't be bothered. Black Hoodie, welcome to the show. I'm going to give y'all some case studies, and then we'll move down to the closing and action steps. This is what happens when you're having fun. It's already 8:53. Where did the time go? Right? Remember, Kairos versus Chronos. That's Chronos right there. Clock time. All right, so case studies of patients leading to breakthrough. Share testimonies of sales professionals who waited on God's timing and experienced surprising breakthroughs. A client resurfaced after months of silence. A delayed project turned into a larger contract. Or a no turned into a yes after a season of prayer. These stories build faith that patience pays off. Patience always pays off, people. Keep sowing. Don't worry about it if you didn't get the sale the first time. You can't be upset with yourself if you didn't close the deal the very first time, knowing that you gave it everything you got. I tell my sales staff all the time, if you didn't give it all you got, if you did not serve the client to the best of your abilities, then yes, if you don't close the deals, you should be upset. You should be upset with yourself. If you didn't show them that you got their best interest in mind, if you didn't show them that you care, if you did not take the time to give them a great presentation, a great demo, if you didn't take the time to build value on your product, then absolutely you should be upset with yourself because you didn't give it all you got. You did not sow properly. But on the other hand, if you did everything that we just talked about and you ended up not closing the deal, you shouldn't be upset with yourself. Just understand that at that moment, the deal wasn't meant to be yours. Doesn't mean that it'll never be. It could come a week later. It could be 2 weeks later, maybe a month later. I don't know. But if it doesn't come, that's okay. Then all that means that that one just wasn't meant to be yours. But yours is coming. Because it's divine. What's yours is anointed, and nobody, and I mean nobody, can never take it away from you. See, if you operate from this mindset, you never get pissed off because a client didn't buy from you. And you're not pressured about meeting your quotas or your numbers because at the end of the month, you're going to be there. Matter of fact, you're going to blow past it. Because you understand that the more you sow, the more you'll reap. The harvest is coming. That's what I just read a few minutes ago. A delayed project that turned into a larger contract. A no that turned into a yes. A client that came in that you wasn't able to close, but weeks later or months later, resurfaced out of nowhere, asked for you, and dropped 10 grand. There's no coincidence. It's happening for a reason. That's divine timing. That's Kairos timing, which is God's timing. All right, closing and action steps, and then we'll wrap it up. This is it. You might want to write this down if you are actually in a setting where you can do that. If you're driving, obviously don't worry about it. Just keep listening. But if you are in a setting where you can write it down, for sure write this down, because I want y'all to take advantage of this and start doing this right away so you can start seeing results. This is what it's all about. At the end of each show, I'm always going to give you some closing and some action steps, things that you can take with you and start applying right away so you can keep getting better. That's what it's all about. We're here to grow, but also grow together, grow with each other, so we can elevate and start selling like the greatest salesman of all time. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all 3 points here, 3 action steps. So number 1, Create your divine timing tracker. Begin a simple journal or spreadsheet to record Kairos moment. Remember, Kairos is God's. That's God's timing, right? Different from Chronos. Chronos is measurable clock. That's timing. That's the clock time. That's different. Kairos is God's timing. So begin a simple journal or a spreadsheet to record Kairos moments. Sense of peace, open doors, delays, scriptural confirmations. Reviewing these notes will train you to see patterns of God's timing. That's key, guys. That's very important. This allows you to literally go back and really see how God is appearing in your life. You can't do that if you don't take the time to record these things. All right. Next point. Identify 3 deals to release or pursue. Identify 3 deals to release or pursue. Remember, not everything is meant to be yours. But what's yours? Oh, it's anointed, baby. It's coming. And nobody gonna stop it. But when I say release, this is when you learn to let go and let God. All right? Oh, Dad, welcome to the show. Ondigua. Identify 3 deals to release or pursue. Prayerfully review your pipeline. Ask God which prospect you should release to Him. That's why I say let go and let God. I'm not just saying let go just to let go. I'm saying let go and let God. When you hear that expression, Jesus take the wheel, that's what it's talking about. So prayerfully review your pipeline. Ask God which prospect you should release to Him and which you should pursue with renewed energy. Let go of pursuits that causes striving and focus on those that bring peace. Last one, develop your patient persistence plan. Develop your patient persistence plan. Write a plan that outlines how you will follow up gently. Remember, we were taught that pressure. Keep pushing. I'm telling you, back off a little bit. Do it gently. This is how you show your clients that you care. And this is bigger than a commission for you. This is not just about a paycheck for you. Do it gently. Nurture relationships over months and maintain trust. Commit to humility and trust. Humble yourselves under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you in due time. Remember that God's timing is always perfect. Surrender your timetable and expect divine appointments. Remember that God's timing is always perfect. It might not look like it because we actually operate on what? Instant gratification. But God's timing is a little different. God's timing is always on time. It's always perfect because it's happening when you're ready for it. See, you can't be asking for stuff and not be ready for it. And God knows this because He knows us better than we know ourselves. So that's why things sometimes get delayed. Very important. Because He's making sure that you're ready for what you're asking for. Because if not, you might end up hurting yourself. That's why it says that God's timing is always perfect. So everything that we just went through, All the steps that I just gave you, from the opening through the 3 different segments that we just broke down, all the way down to the closing and action steps. This is all designed to let us understand and know that success comes from aligning with divine timing rather than pursuing outcomes. This was good, people. This was fantastic. That was some great teaching today. And I hope this landed with each and every one of you guys that stopped by today. And I hope that you definitely take these action steps and start implementing this to your life right now, right away. Keep coming. Keep learning. Keep growing with us. We do these shows, like I said, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys for spending some time with me. Oh, no? Big ups to you. You hung in there till the end with me. I appreciate it. Tell everybody in France and Paris I say hello. Love you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next show on Thursday at 12 noon. Till next time. And as always, remain blessed. Love you. Peace.